A few years back, I partnered with an event company to organize a music concert. It was a really big concert, and so about 3 days to the event, we sold all the tickets except the VIP tickets. Those were ridiculously expensive. So it wasn't something anybody could just afford, right? So about 3 days to the event, my work partner calls me and says to me, oh, his contact had given him, had connected him to some people that were ready to buy the VIP tickets. So we're to go sell tickets. Anyway, at this point, we'd been stationed at this event center about 48 hours straight. So I was in work clothes, but I didn't think it mattered because we're just going to sell tickets, yes? So when we got there, so I thought I would just stay outside and my work partner would go in to sell the tickets. But as we got there, we're ushered into the house. As we walked into the house, lo and behold, they were having a get-together. It felt as though the ground will open and I would drop into it because I wasn't dressed for it. Like I said, I've been working for days straight and everything. So I was in casual clothes like jeans, t-shirts and sneakers and everything. And everybody there, people were dressed to the T. It was a get together. People were all dressed up. They were looking lavish and everything. And so it was really embarrassing. So anyway, I stood by the door and just thought, okay, you go sell the tickets. I'll just stay here. And what really surprised me was the host was absolutely amazing. So the host said to us, no, come in, come and sit at my table and everything. And he treated us like royalty. It was almost as if nobody noticed what we're wearing. It was really weird and we're treated so well. And recently, this incident crossed my mind and it got me thinking about how sometimes we downplay ourselves. We downplay our worth. We downplay who we are because, maybe there's no money right now, so we consider ourselves as broke. Maybe we don't have what others have. Oh, we don't have the perfect life. We don't have this. We don't have that. Then we consider ourselves as unlucky. Maybe we don't have a big name attached to us. And then we consider ourselves as nobody. And that's because we tend to see ourselves through our own eyes, through the lens of our current situation. But what if we could see ourselves through our Maker's eyes? What if we could get a glimpse of how God sees us? The possibilities will be endless, right? Because he sees us as what we're capable of becoming, not who we are right now. See, when a painter makes art, right? Sometimes the lines are jagged. Sometimes the colors of the paintings are blurry. But if you could see the painting through the eyes of the painter, you would realize that the painting is absolutely perfect. The jagged lines and the blurry colors were designed for a purpose. Let me tell you a quick story. So it's the story of a young man named Saul, the son of Kish. So his father's donkeys went missing, right? And he set out on a mission to look for the donkeys. So he left with a servant. And after searching everywhere, they could not find the donkeys. So he wanted to return because he thought his father might be worried. And the servant suggested that, okay, before we go back, why don't we inquire of from the prophet? There's a prophet around here. We can ask him about the whereabouts of the donkeys. He would know. So they went out to look for the prophet. When they got there, apparently the prophet they were seeking for was Samuel. Now, Samuel, on the other hand, was a great prophet in Israel. As usual, the Israelites had rebelled against God and they said they wanted a human king. And so Samuel went to pray to God about it and God said, just give them whatever they want. However, there will be, by this time tomorrow, a young man will come to you. He will be the king of Israel. Now think about it. Israel had never had a king before, so he would be the first. Now, this was a young man. Yes, good looking, but he was just looking for his father's donkeys, right? So he got to Samuel, and by the time he got there, Samuel was offering in one of the high places, and he was giving an offering in the high place. So Saul went there with the servant to meet up with Samuel to inquire about the whereabouts of the donkeys. By the time he got there, Samuel was throwing a feast, and Samuel invited him to the feast with the other people that were invited. Now, Samuel made Saul sit at the head of the table and he got the best part of the feast. And I'm sure Saul in his head will be thinking, what's this about? I'm just a young man looking for my father's donkeys. Why am I being treated so well? Not realizing that whilst he saw himself as insignificant, God saw him as the next king of Israel. The following day, Samuel anointed Saul as the first king of Israel. Now, Saul could not carry out that mission, that purpose of God for his life as the old Saul, right? He had to become a new person. Now, so if you look at the story in 1 Samuel, I think it's 10:6, it was recorded that the Spirit of God will come powerfully upon Saul and he will become a new person. God changes the heart through circumstances. Sometimes who and where you are in life cannot fulfill his plan. So he puts you through circumstances. It's not to destroy you. It's to fulfill a divine purpose. See, if anyone had told me about 6 years ago that I'll be where I am today, or even have this channel, I would have thought that person was absolutely bonkers. But I went through some very major circumstances of my own that gave me a change of heart. And I know what you may be thinking. What is this lady talking about? If only you know how bad things are. If only you know what I'm going through. And you're right, I don't. I didn't make the plan. I didn't paint the picture. I did not create you. But God did. And He knows what you're passing through. And the first thing you have to do to experience a change is to look away from the problem and focus completely on God. But how? How do you look away from the problem when there's no money and the landlord is calling for rent? How do you look away from the problem when you probably don't know where the next meal is coming from? How do you look away from the problem when kids are being sent back from school? You take a cue from Paul and Silas. Let me tell you what they did. So these two young men were unlawfully arrested and put in jail. Whilst in jail, they were actually bound as well. However, at midnight, they started to sing praises to God. Can you imagine what it feels like to be in prison? Not just in prison, but bound in prison. And you're able to look away from that and focus on God and sing praises to God. And when they did that, what happened? Their situation changed. Why? Because they knew that God, who made the plan and understands the purpose, is bigger than their circumstances. The next thing you have to do is shut your ears to fears, to doubt, and to advice that do not align with your purpose. See, when you're going through stuff, difficult circumstances, people have a lot to say. Oh, maybe it's because of this. Maybe it's because of that. Oh, this is what you're supposed to do. This is what you should do, and that's what you should do. And that's not to say they're wrong. However, does it align with your purpose? Let me explain. If you walk into an art gallery, you would see a lot of paintings. Most of these paintings are left to interpretation, right? So you could see the picture of a girl in a garden of yellow daffodils holding a red rose. Now, some people would say maybe she planted just that one red rose in that garden. Some people would say, no, she probably walked into the garden holding the red rose. Some people would say maybe the red means she's passionate about planting a garden. All sorts of interpretation. But the one who painted the picture is the only one that can truly interpret it. And that's who you go to for answers. God, your creator. And finally, you should trust completely in His plan and purpose, even if you're not sure what it really is. Because all you need to know is that His thoughts towards you are thoughts of peace and not of evil, to bring you to an expected end. Namaste.